Hey, this is Byron, and I'm with Solveig again, and this is our second podcast. And today we're going to be discussing uh, mostly about social media. So, hey, Solveig, how's it going?
Good, Byron. How's it going?
It's going pretty good, and it's good to be back online again with you. And just off the bat, do you personally use social media like as a on a regular basis, or are you just like what's your thoughts on social media?
I'm a pretty regular Facebooker. I know that some of the kids say it's old school, but I
Right.
stay in touch with friends and family that way. And I also use it to keep track of events that are going on, like if there's a concert going on locally or a Halloween party. I
Right.
like that Facebook gives me a reminder because I have three kids and I double book myself a lot. So and then I guess my kids are the other reason I'm on it. I share pictures of them with their grandmother who's in Florida and things like that. And then
Right.
I do see like news stuff through Facebook sometimes. Like I'm a member of a political group and um, I can keep track of other like I work with a volunteer art gallery and I keep track of the things that we're doing through Facebook on there, things like that.
Right.
So it's social reasons, and I guess I'm comfortable with Facebook. So, and a lot of my friends use it kind of in the same way as me, so it's comfortable, and I know what I'm doing there.
Yeah, yeah. So you're not really on Twitter or Instagram or any of the others, just Facebook?
No, you know what? I thought about Twitter, and I thought that it's more of a it seemed more like it was like about writing, and I like the
Mm,
pictures and the images. So I did join
right,
Instagram, and I guess I felt like it just never. I enjoy it, but I don't use it as much as Facebook. I think I like
right.
the all the photos and all the text together on Facebook the way that that's set up. I don't know. I think it's really more like the way that it's set up more than anything else.
Yeah.
I
So you
guess
prefer the
there's
I'm sorry,
issues
you
with
prefer the
like
design?
yeah, the design because I know
Okay.
I know where to look on the page to figure out like what's going on. But
Yeah.
do you use social media, Byron?
Yeah, like you, I definitely use Facebook. I have, accounts for, Twitter and Instagram as well. But it's funny, for those accounts like Twitter and Instagram, mostly just following like celebrities and stuff, like music bands or like actors and stuff like that. Um, not any of my like family members or friends. Um, but on Facebook, it's almost like the opposite. All of my friends and family are pretty much on Facebook, so that's how I interact with them and stuff like you. Um, and I think I use Facebook definitely out of all the social media the most. You know, it's just for me, it looks like it offers more than the other two.
Yeah,
Like
I
Instagram is maybe great for photos and looking at photos and to see what someone's doing at the moment, but it seems very limited too. And the same with Twitter. Twitter's like you could just get like someone's idea or thoughts in a couple of sentences, and then boom, it's over. It's like okay, where Facebook, it's like you could it just seems like there's so much more offered on Facebook. Like you could just explore more, and there's definitely photos. You could definitely post your thoughts. You could do and contribute so much more than it seems like the other two. So yeah, I do like social media. I mean, I do use social media, and I guess I like it as well.
so Byron, you said something really interesting in the past week about considering Wikipedia to be social media. You think Wikipedia is social media?
I think that for Wikipedia, it's a great, quick, useful website to just get the information and thoughts and like a overall summary. But when you dig deeper into Wikipedia, like what we did with that past assignment, and get to know Wikipedia, I never knew such things existed on Wikipedia. I didn't know there was a talk page where pretty much anyone that contributes to Wikipedia could just post whatever they want, and that's where I
Neither did
think it
I.
becomes, yeah, and
It was totally a mystery to me how it gets
it
created.
was.
I knew there were editors, but I didn't realize how much they were talking to each other and discussing what needed to be included and why it needed to be included.
And it goes back and forth like a conversation, and in that, you know, respect, that's where I kind of felt that it was more like a social media forum for just selected people, or in this case, any Wikipedian member or whatever.
That forum even had some of its own words. I had to look up
Yes.
different terms because I was like, what does that mean? And they're
Yeah.
obviously like that one lesson that we had that talked about certain social groups having certain understandings of specific words.
Hmm. Yeah, it's like you have to be in that like genre, that
Yeah,
you have to be in that like zone or whatever to understand or whatever what they're talking about, and which where like I'm more like an outsider. I mean, yeah, now I'm a member because I basically joined it for that assignment, but I have no idea sometimes what they're talking about, like as far as their jargon or their language, that.
yeah. I had a whole sheet of acronyms that I wrote out for myself so that as I was reading I could remember, oh yeah, RS means reliable source. They're throwing reliable source at this
Oh
comment.
yeah, they're
And
throwing like terminology on there that only like everyday members are gonna know what the heck they're talking about. So
yeah.
yeah, but in that regards, that's what I was trying to compare it to, more of a social media. At least for me, it came across like, because I mean, all this stuff that they're posting really is like, if you read some of like the posts, it's like they're not real hardcore facts. They're like opinions and takes on the facts.
That's the posts on the talk page, or is that the post
More on the talk
on the
post,
front page?
on the
Yeah.
talk page, yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I said, when if I like go into Google, because I wanted to look up information on maybe like like a former president or something like that, the first thing that's gonna come up is like a little biography, and it's probably gonna be from Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna click on it, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, all right, well, like let's take Bill Clinton. All right, so here's when he was president. Here's like his birth date. He's from here, and it'll give me like this whole biography, which I'm sure is like true and facts. But for that regard, that's great. And it's kind of like helpful and useful, Wikipedia. But when you go on to all these things that we discovered through our lesson, like like the talk pages, or even reading the disclaimer, like if you go on, there's a little thing on the side like on Wikipedia that says about Wikipedia, and it gives this whole disclaimer about like this shouldn't be used as like a know-it-all source or something, and blah blah blah, and all the members on here are anonymous, and you know and that's another thing. Why are they all anonymous? It's like, like, I mean, what do they got to hide?
Well, one classmate mentioned that Wikipedia was more true because different opinions were being discussed and Wikipedia was moving closer towards a more absolute truth because those opinions were being discussed.
So, what's your thoughts on Wikipedia, Solveig?
Well, I think the pages themselves, I think, are a fairly reliable source. Obviously, there's a lot of conversations
Mm,
going on in the talk pages that um, are fascinating, but I didn't even know the talk pages existed prior to this. Um, I think
yeah.
for like for reference, I use Wikipedia for checking like history things. Like, wait a minute, did that happen in the 1700s or the 1800s? And I don't know if it's 100% accurate all the time, but I feel like it's on par with what opening up a paper encyclopedia would be.
Right.
And then from some of the research that I did with the Wikipedia project, to me it seems like in Wikipedia is better or moving in a better direction in that it's easier for women and minorities to be
Sure.
editors and to do the work. It's I don't think it's there yet. I think
Yeah.
some of the research I did showed that Wikipedia is supporting editathons where they encourage certain minorities or women to to work on a certain topic over a month or a weekend or whatever, and they
Yeah.
help the new editors learn how to do editing that's like wiki approved. So I don't think it might be 100% there yet, but I think it's reliable, and I think that that's moving information in the right direction.
I think I definitely agree with you. And you mentioned earlier that, like there's like printed encyclopedias, like, I mean, if you think about that, like,
Yeah, how often were new editions published?
exactly, like, so, and how outdated is that information, and who's
Yeah,
even like, who even contributed to that information? If
not not the women and not the minorities.
so it's like maybe, in that sense, Wikipedia is a good, fresh source of information. I mean, I didn't personally look at it that way until just now as well. That, maybe it's good to have like many members overseeing Wikipedia and kind of contributing and watching it and keeping it up to date with the most, what we hope is accurate
Yeah,
information.
it definitely doesn't lessen the number of opinions being shared, but
No, that's totally what I meant as far as trying to compare it to a social media forum. It's just like if you look at the backstory of it, it's just like there's a lot going on there, and it seems like there's just like, like an open forum for like people to go back and forth and argue about their opinions.
yeah. So, Byron, what
Yes,
do you think about social media in the classroom or Wikipedia in the classroom? You think they're appropriate?
I think there's nothing wrong with incorporating both social media and Wikipedia. It's just like, basically, anything with the webs, with using the internet. I mean, you just gotta like, you know, teach people, as far as like the rights and wrongs of, what to not do and do, like any other website. If I go onto, it depends what your intentions are, is what I'm saying. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense, yeah.
Well, I think the thing that I noticed that you were saying was that you need to teach people. And these things are part of our world. Social media
Yes,
and Wikipedia are part of our world. And
yes.
the classroom
They're not
is
going
really,
away.
they're not going anywhere.
No,
The classroom is a safe place for kids to learn about them.
exactly. Yes. I think if they was gonna, I would, to go back to that question, I would rather have kids learn about social media and Wikipedia in a classroom from an educator than on the street amongst,
Yeah.
themselves and trying to figure out things on their own and be like, like, well, I hope I'm doing this right. I hope this guy's real. I hope this person exists. It's like I rather see it in the classroom and brought to their attention the correct way, and in, that sense, like, if that makes a, yeah, you know
I agree with you completely. And I think some of the readings we did this semester support that too. I remember one of them pointed out that kids that are using the internet for social reasons are not using it the same way as kids that are thinking critically while they're using it and working to create stuff with purpose. And so raising everybody's consciousness through using social media and Wikipedia in the classroom are good things. Although we do need to tell students to turn their phones off while we're talking.
well, that's the thing. If you're using it just to socialize and, like, pass notes in between class, that's one thing. Like if you're chatting with somebody on Facebook, when you're not supposed to, obviously, then that becomes a bad thing for social media. But if you're just
Exactly.
simply using it to gather information for a, a project or an assignment, then I would see why not. That's a great tool. You're gathering the most current information, up to date information available, rather than some book that was made in 1960, or whatever.
Yeah. And I think actually that even passing notes is one of those things that even though it takes away from the classroom lecture, I think that kids get better at writing through doing stuff like that. It's kind of like a real life situation. How do you talk to the person sitting next to you? That's a skill. How do you
Exactly.
communicate effectively? That's a big part of education.
I think we definitely covered enough on social media, at least for this podcast.
I think we did.
I think just to wrap things up, I think social media is not going away. I think it's certainly not a trend that, like a VHS tape or a CD or something. I think it's here to stay. So I mean,
I don't know, it might change. I'm
but
sure it will change,
I'm
but
pretty sure. But it's like, did we have this technology, 10 years ago or even 5 years ago? It's like, who knows what to expect in 5 years? I mean, from now. It's like there could be a whole new thing that pops up, and we'll be discussing that on another podcast, I guess.
I was just gonna say, are we gonna have to
Yeah,
take digital literacies again?
exactly. Yeah, 2.0.
We'll have exactly
So
2.5.
that's right. So,
Thanks so much for working with me on the podcast, Byron.
oh, no problem. And, it was great that you guys listened in, and we hope you appreciate it. Thank you.